Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you soup-based beings listen to.
I love soup.
Me too.
Oh, I thought you said suit. I was like, yeah, get a nice pinstripe in. That'd be great.
That too. I mean, hey, everybody listens to it, so.
Preferably in suits.
Yeah, hey, soup-based beings in suits.
Oh, soups.
Why
Yeah.
have I suit rider? Why have I never been in a suit and drank soup?
You haven't been to a fancy dinner party.
Also, why am I drinking soup? Guess you should sip that, huh?
I don't know, you can drink it. Depends on the temperature, you know.
And the way you're drinking, and the way if you with the spoon, it's not really sipping, it's like ladling, it's more of an eating thing. But if you're drinking it out of like a cup or something, because you could warm soup up in a cup and then drink it.
Is it rude to pick up the whole bowl and...
No.
Oh, see?
think
You could drink it.
I think it depends on the soup. Like if it's like a thick clam chowder,
It's like a
I don't
stew.
think that's going to be like helpful to do
Just
that.
smeared all over your face. Just like slowly dripping down your chin, chunky style.
You know what? Challenge accepted.
Catch us next week when Manda.
Amanda drinks clam chowder.
Our new podcast called Soup Drinkers.
There's definitely like a subculture on the internet that would be like, yeah.
There's always something on the internet that's like, yeah.
Please don't Google that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know.
Soup drinkers? Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be some weird ASMR. Like,
Hopefully that's the best.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's
yeah.
all you find.
I didn't go anywhere else but that.
But now you did.
Now
How
you
dare you, Joe?
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Well, let's get into it. Let's start off with the games we've been playing this week.
Or even who we are.
Oh, that's it. I guess that would help. You know, the soup-based stuff just completely like made mush of my brain.
Made soup of your brain.
It
Made
did.
mushroom soup of your brain.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Nom, 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 nom.
No.
You're overcooked.
Yeah. Oh, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
And we are the Taste of Dragons.
Yeah.
Rar.
Or
Fire sounds.
Scorchios. And now I guess we can get into our games that we've been playing this week.
What are you playing?
All right, and as you just heard, it's just the four of us this week. No special guests. We are your special guests.
I've been enjoying our Guest of Dragons, our GODs, our gods these past few weeks. But it's also nice to kind of, come back to the core.
That's
You know,
right.
work on your core.
Yeah.
I've always been told that.
See
I
if
don't know
we
what
can-
it means, but
Yeah. See if we can keep our games below 40 minutes this time. I tried so hard last week. It just never worked.
We promised nothing.
No, I know. I said I'd try. But I'll start us off. I got something quick again.
Cool.
I'll do this week I was playing Borderlands 3. I beat it.
Wow.
I did not do any side missions, though.
Okay.
I played just straight through because I also heard once you beat the game, unlike previous Borderlands, once you beat the game, all of the side missions go up to your level. So you will get more experience for them. So therefore, you will level quicker after you're done with the game.
Brian, you've gamed the game.
I did.
Look at you.
I know.
You should make a YouTube video about that.
No. I got 2 podcasts. I got work.
We can make this happen.
Joe, I got podcasts.
I edit them.
Yeah. But it actually also made it a little challenging because I was just doing the story missions, so I was also under-leveled. So a lot of my shots did less damage to the bosses and everything. So it actually made it a little bit more challenging, which was pretty cool.
And that was your personal achievement from last week.
That was.
Yeah.
So
Quick question about
Yeah.
Borderlands. Did you come across any locations that were very taking or very striking? Just environments that you were like, wow, this is very different from Borderlands that I'm used to.
yeah, actually the very last planet that you're on is very kind of almost like Control-like, where it's a lot of like weird stuff just kind of like floating.
So
Like-
stark,
yeah,
little
like
minimalistic.
Yeah, it was minimalistic, and then there was like a whole bunch of like technological stuff going on with it too, which is very not Borderlands. It's very much, kind of like the Old West, and a lot of the ones in this one are like plant-based worlds, or there are other things like that.
Okay.
So this one was just like one of the very last planet that you're on. There's just like a giant floating cube in the very middle of where you're running. It's like a field, and there's just a giant floating cube in the middle of it.
Did you go to multiple
awesome.
planets in Borderlands 2?
No. You were just on Pandora.
So you planet hop in this one.
You are planet
That's
hopping in this
cool.
one, which is also makes it so you can. The environments are a lot more varied now
That's
because you do
nice.
have different planets.
It's a lot like Super Mario Odyssey, but with guns.
Okay. I get that.
Or Super Mario Galaxy, but with guns.
Oh.
Super Mario Galaxy. I tried. No, it didn't.
Workshop it, bring it back next week.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the game was great. Really enjoyed it. The story, I didn't. It doesn't matter. Like it matters.
That makes me kind
It
of
doesn't
sad,
matter.
though, because after Tales of the Borderland, the Telltale story-driven thing, they showed a lot of promise with this next Borderlands. They're going to incorporate story elements from that. And I don't know the specifics of the story elements, but I just thought narratively speaking, they would try and make this a little more robust.
It is more robust. Like I don't mean that as in like the story doesn't matter.
Okay.
However, me personally, it was one of those. All right, this is just a story. Like it's kind of like one of those. Like all right, I'm just kind of going through the motions. All right, cool. Like nothing really like unexpected happened. Nothing surprised me with the story.
Okay.
So I mean that's where I'm going with it with that.
Gotcha.
But like yeah, it definitely they did up it from the second one. So there was much more of like a followable story. You are going through these different moments and they do matter, but it just wasn't my bag.
Okay.
But the game was great. Enjoyed it. The weapons are varied. There's so many different weapons in that game. They all have different powers, and the reason I'm bringing up this game is because I encountered 2 bugs while I was doing it, and one of them actually, I was in the middle of fighting a boss, and the game kind of froze, and I was like, okay, this is fine. And then I let it go for like a minute. I was like, all right, it's just frozen. So like I hit my PlayStation button to just back out to the main menu in order to close it down. And when I hit that button, the screen went blue. And I was like, all right, it's just thinking. I let it go for about 2 or 3 minutes. The entire PlayStation shut down. It ejected the disc.
What?
And it
And then Claptrap crawled out of your TV.
and it disconnected all my USBs, which is where I have an SSD on a USB drive. So it ejected that. So I had to go through that. I had to reconfigure, not configure, but reinitialize the system.
It sounds
just
like
kinda
this
make
could
sure.
be part of the game because
yeah.
the villains are like these
they're
streamers. They're
yeah.
like in tune, like, subscribe us. Did you not like or subscribe?
I didn't, and I didn't obey either.
Didn't obey.
I think it was the obey part. Yeah, I
Dude,
just didn't do it.
You deserved that.
I did. And it was just one of those like, oh. And then I was like, all right, it's finally reinitialized itself or whatever. I was like, all right, I'm going to start the game. It's like, please insert the disc. And I looked down. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right.
What?
You ejected the disc. Take it out, put it back in. And it was fine. So I was like, all right, that was interesting. And then I was on the very final boss, and the game crashed during the final
Just
boss.
froze?
No, it like completely like it did the
Back to menu.
It came up
Blue
to
screen.
blue screen. It came up, hey, your game had a problem. You want to send in
Yeah.
a report? And so I realized when I went back into it, so I sent one. And so when I went back into it, I realized, I think because I skipped a phase, I was killing it too quickly. So it actually skipped a phase, and I think the game just went, and it was done.
Wait, what'd the game go like? Oh, I like that.
Yeah. But when that happened initially, this was at like 1:15 in the morning, and I was just like, no, it was 1 o'clock, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a little bit of a break. Although this was the night before Destiny released, so I was like, I have to finish this game tonight. So I let it go for like 15 minutes, play a little game on my phone.
Yeah.
Came back into it, like, all right, it better not freeze. It didn't. Beat it, and got the credits and everything.
Sweet.
So yeah,
And now
good
you're
game.
ready for the end game.
Yep. Now I'm ready for the end game.
End game content. Nice.
Which is all the side quests. So yeah, that's the game I was playing this week. How about you, Amanda? What did you play?
This week I played Destiny 2 Shadowkeep.
I've heard of that.
Ooh. I was very excited to jump back into Destiny. I got in the first day, which meant that I stared at that queue for about an hour and a half. It was very disappointing because we were in queue, and then I encountered a queue error, and then Troy got into the game, and then I went back at the beginning of the queue. But the good news is once we were out of queue, the game was fine.
Okay.
And we got to do some Crucible, and I got to remember how to play in Crucible, which was a bad decision. So we jumped into the PvP mode immediately to kind of like get reacquainted with the game, and then died a lot. But the game's really nice. The new area and the aesthetic are really interesting. It was so great to just get back into Destiny. I forgot how much I enjoyed playing it until like I sat down and it loaded up and I saw my character and I was just like, oh, I was missing this so much. I'm sure it will also remind me why I quit, but not yet. The new environment's really cool. So it's set on the moon, and the best way to describe it is like if you took the moon and you mixed it with the Tower of Sauron from the Lord of the Rings. It's got all these like like black and red towers with spires and they must have been drinking Kool-Aid somewhere, because it also has like this control like aspect to it where you get like these disembodied things that are hanging around,
like bodies.
They're really creepy, so which is very different from the other Destiny campaigns that I've played. They moved all of my legacy equipment up to 750. So in the game, you have a light level for your equipment, and as your equipment levels up, you get more powerful. And in previous versions of the game, it would be like, oh, the expansion dropped and I can't play it yet because I'm not high enough level. And in this one, they were just like, nah, all of your equipment from the beginning of the game, as long as you own it, is all up to the par that you needed it to be, which was dope.
You might remember me talking about wanting to get back into Destiny before the servers went down to catch up, and I didn't. Good thing I didn't, because I would have grinded for no reason to get my power level up to 750, and they just did it automatically. So good for me on procrastination.
Oh, yeah.
But they had some cool new features, which I really liked. They have a season's pass now. And as you level up your characters, as you generally collect experience points, they'll give you rewards for the season. So we're up to like reward level 8. And because we bought the season pass, we get 2 items every time we level up, which is like they're gifting you for playing periodically.
It's significant to mention that Destiny, as of this update, has gone free to play.
Correct.
And that's why they had the season update. You could play this game for free and you'll get some rewards. But if you bought the expansion for $34.99, you will now get more rewards every time you level up. And of course, the new content is also gated off by a price point.
Correct. Yeah. So everything before Forsaken, I think everything before Forsaken, but not the DLC, is all free. Everything Forsaken and before is free. Everything DLC and after you have to pay for. So.
I think I got some of the Forsaken DLC for free.
Yeah, you got it because you already paid for it.
For Forsaken.
Correct. You already paid for Forsaken, so they gave that to you. That's kind of like their little bonus, because they're giving everything else away for free to everybody else. So thank you for playing. Thank you for supporting us. Here's your stuff. Here's some extra stuff for you.
Yeah. And worth noting the significance of like why Destiny is doing this now with the leaving of Activision and whatnot. So Activision was with Bungie and they created Destiny and Destiny 2, and they kind of got on this train of releasing things on Activision's time on their schedule. And so pretty much through dealings and whatnot, they have split from Activision, and this was their first expansion into their own realm. They're basically an independent developer.
Yep.
And this is finally them doing things at their speed, the way they want to, without all of the gotchas that Activision had before, and some of the dirty dealings with like experience not actually giving you experience and all that stuff. They're just like, hey, we just want good, honest, fun Destiny.
Yep.
Still going to be a lot of microtransactions.
Which is really cool, because normally Game companies go the other way, which is like, I'm this little indie developer and I'm finally big enough and now I got bought by a big company. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And it's cool to see a company go the opposite way. It's like, no, we'd rather deal with that than like stick to like a corporate schedule. So we're gonna take the be artistic and do our own thing. Which is fun.
Bungie's like that. Like is like a jump rope though. It's like, all right, we're independent. All right, we got bought by Microsoft, and now we're doing Halo. All right, we're independent again. All right, now we got bought. We did Destiny. All right, we got bought by Activision. Oh, now we're independent again.
It seems to be working for them.
Oh yeah. Hey, I wish them all the best, because they've been doing well. They've been doing right by, I think, the people who play it.
I agree.
So
yeah. I only encountered one bug, and it worked in my favor. I was in one of the delves, the lost sectors, and none of the mobs in the entire dungeon were aggressive.
Nice.
I felt terrible by the end because I was just murdering things.
You did anyway?
Oh yeah, I finished that last sector.
You mean
they're really difficult, especially by yourself.
This is
so
like
I
those
just-
Goombas in Link's Awakening who don't even try and fight you, and
Yep.
then you slice them down
Oh yeah,
anyway.
I murdered 300 of them. It was like so much. It was an interesting commentary on the game because when they don't fight back, I feel like it takes longer to kill them. So it was just me being like, oh.
I have to chase you
Gosh.
all down one by one.
And you had to kill all the mini mobs for the boss to pop up, which it doesn't normally work like that. Usually you can run to the end and just.
Yeah.
So no, I had to kill all of them.
Wow.
but I got the armor. So.
That sounds like you just played hide and go seek.
Yeah. Like, couldn't they all just gather in like a house all at once so you can just light them all on fire?
Right?
It's so convenient.
Yeah, it was.
But really good game.
Okay,
I highly recommend it.
Nice.
And I look forward to our next podcast. We're going to do a deep dive on Destiny with two special guests who have been playing from the beginning and also daily,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
more than I can say.
We got us some experts.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a Destiny-themed podcast coming up.
That is correct.
Tune back in.
And then how about Troy? What did you play?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Brian.
welcome.
I played a video game this week.
Ooh.
Yes, to go in line with your Borderlands, a first-person shooter, and Destiny, a first-person shooter, I dove into the new season of Apex Legends.
Nice.
Also a first-person shooter.
Yes.
But the slant with Apex Legends is that it's a battle royale type game, which means you're dropped into a map with a bunch of other people, maybe 60, 70, 90, and then that map slowly gets smaller and smaller, and whoever survives last is the winner. This was the Shadow Drop game that came out in February that we really got into right out the gate, and we couldn't stop playing it for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then I fell off of it because it was just too difficult.
Yeah.
People got too good at that game. I don't have the time to invest to become that great. But recently they added ranking. So, hey, if you keep getting destroyed over and over again, they're going to put you with players who also get destroyed over and over again, which saved the game for me because I
That's
can
good.
finally play again. It's not totally perfect if you're doing like the quick play mode. But if you do an actual ranked mode, then you'll have your status, which I'm all for. But what's significant about this week, a couple days ago, the same day that Destiny dropped, October 1st, they launched a new season, which came with a brand new character whose name is Crypto and a new map, which is called the Meltdown. Or no, the season is called Meltdown.
Yeah.
But the map is Fire and Ice. So real quick, the map is amazing. It's beautiful to look at. You don't have access to the old map from what I've seen. They just drop you into the new one. And it's great. There's one section of the map that is just molten lava. And then in the middle is like a metropolis and like a little greenery area. And then on the opposite side is just a frozen tundra.
Huh.
And you kind of, if you're in the lava place, it's going to be easier to die because you can fall in the lava. I haven't really seen a significance to the ice. You don't freeze or anything. Maybe it's slippery.
slippery? Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Okay.
Because it's still Apex Legends. When you get dumped on the map, most likely within the next 2 minutes, you're gone and out of the game.
Yeah.
So if you somehow survive those 2 minutes, then I can actually be like, oh, I can explore the map. So I did a little exploration of that. Didn't find any difference with the ice, but I did today. Right before I came here, I was like, I haven't landed on the train. There is a train that they have in this new map that goes throughout the entire area. And so I specifically abandoned my crew, which is a crew of 3 that you're supposed to roll with. Sorry, guys. Or gals. I just went off on my own. And I landed directly on a moving train, and it felt so good because I had to pre my shot. What is it?
Yeah. You had to pick where you were landing.
Yeah. I had to lead my shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
lead
yes.
my landing.
Yeah.
And so like the train's coming down, and I'm aiming towards the track, and I know just if I time it just right, and boom, I landed on it. Felt amazing. I was like, I did it. I see all these equipment, and all of a sudden I hear doom, 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 doom. A bunch of other people start landing on the train. I'm like, no! I grab like a shorthand shotgun. I just start firing wildly. I'm down immediately. Like I maybe got one shot off somebody, and then I just get to watch. Because you don't immediately go out. You're kind of crawling around before you're out of the game. Mm-hmm. And I just watch bedlam on this train. It's so amusing. People, and the train is moving. It's like high-speed, train action movie stuff. People on the roof of the train fighting. People are in the cargoes inside. I'm crawling around, and I'm like, this is impossible. And the train's moving. I'm going to like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to dramatically roll off this train before I die. It's going to be great. And I finally get to the edge of the train, and then we pull into a stop. And it like slows down. I'm like, well, that's anticlimactic. And I just kind of get off the train and I chill. But I was playing the new character at this point. And that new character, his name is Crypto, and his special ability all revolves around a drone. He is a scout-based hero. This is a game where you want to have as much information as possible. It's going to give you the edge. He doesn't have any combat stuff. What you do, you get in a corner, and then you summon a drone, and then you're vulnerable, and you fly this drone around, pinging enemies in the area, opening doors if you need to, just bringing information to the rest of your crew so they know how it works. Now, in this same match where I lost in the train, one of my lovely teammates actually came and got me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy ran away from us, jumped on a train, got himself killed, and I'm going to go across the map to save him.
Or he was like, man, that guy went straight for that train. He's a cool mother. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's got to know what he's doing.
I like that dude.
Yeah.
So he revived me, and I was like, I'll play for real. And I didn't play well because I'm still not that great at the game. But this person was amazing, obviously, because they felt the need to come and get me. We ended up getting to the top 3 in this match. And I'm there, and I'm just doing the best that I can. The other person's already gone. It's just me and this other dude. And I have this recon thing. I'm like, all right, let me really use this recon. And it's 3 teams left, small area. I get into a room, and I fly up the drone, and I'm just giving him the locations of everyone else that's left in this game, which is vital. And he just starts attacking and picking them off, and I can release an EMP to like get rid of their shields. And all of a sudden the screen gets red. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, no, they didn't find me, did they? I go back to myself. I get rid of the drone. I'm outside of the circle. And if you're outside the circle, you die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. And I try running back, and I'm gone. But luckily, my teammate had just enough information before I left to take out the last person, and we were the Apex champions.
Woo! Yes.
And that was because of you.
It was because of me.
Because of you going onto the train. That put him in the best possible position to win the game for you guys.
We are patenting this strat. We're gonna call it the Troy Train.
It's called get a teammate that's better than you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good strategy. But yeah, so I feel like I got the full Apex experience and never have to play Crypto again. So great.
Hey.
I'll be diving back in. There's a lot of special things going on there. I bought the season pass, so
Oh, you did?
I'm gonna try to get as much out of it as
Is
I
that
can.
still $10?
Roughly. They do the whole.
Yeah, they do the
it's a
whole,
free-to-play game, so they have all the gotcha kind of scams in 3 different currencies that you're like, how much money did I spend? I put in $20, and I was able to get the new character and the season pass.
Okay.
With some change left over.
All right, cool.
That's it.
Very nice, very
Yep,
nice. And then Joe, this brings us to you.
Oh, I played a really cool game that everybody should play because you can play for free on iOS. It wasn't very cool, but it was called Way of the Turtle.
That's a great title.
Yeah, it was a great title. It really was. And its icon's really fun and like neon-y and rainbowy and cool and glowing. You're a turtle. It's kind of like you ever play that Rayman game that they put on the
Yes.
mobile?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a
It's like a
Fiesta
runner?
Run.
It's a runner,
It's a
yeah.
runner. It's basically a runner.
It's
and
funny because it's a turtle.
that's what makes it amazing. So like you're this like happy turtle, and like the game starts off and you've crash landed on a beach and you're there. You were supposed to be going on your honeymoon with your turtle wife, and now you got to go find her. And you're like, oh man, this is like breaking my heart already. Like I was like, all right, cool, I'll play this game. You start and you're walking mildly fast for a turtle, surprisingly enough. And like and you're walking along. There's little coins. You collect the coins. If you get hit by something, or if you get hurt by anything and like spikes in the way, there's little hearts along the road. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And it's like swipe to the right to go this way, swipe to the left to go back.
Oh.
I was like, all right, cool. He's auto walking. You don't stop. So I'm like, okay, cool. So to go right, you go this. To go forward, you go this way. To go back, you go that way. All right, cool. So I do it back and forth a couple times just to see where on the screen it works, where it doesn't work. It seems to work everywhere. I'm like, all right, that's kind of weird, but all right, cool. Awesome. I can have my hands anywhere. You can be left-handed or right-handed and play this game. Woohoo!
That's good.
Which I thought was really great until they added a mechanism that you get at the end of the first level. So there's a jumping. There's a simple jump and a long jump. You tap it to jump, and you press and hold. Like you tap the screen and keep your finger there to long jump.
Okay.
Or to high jump.
It's like a charge.
It's like in Mario. If you press and hold that A button a little bit more, he'll go a little, he'll actually stay up in the air longer. That's
good.
basically what it is. But there's no A button. It's just a tap on the screen. So you go to jump and you tap the screen and then you turn the way you're facing for some reason.
Oh.
So I was like, all right, maybe this is just like my hands I'm not doing this right. I'm like, maybe you're just supposed to do it like Rayman. There's the front of the screen and the back of the screen. You can choose which side is the one for you. And I thought maybe I'm just holding this wrong. Like, or you know what I mean? Like I'm just doing this wrong. No, like everywhere on the screen you should be able to do, it seems like you can do all of the motions, which is why the screen can't figure out what the hell you want it to do. So like I got to the second level and there's all these spikes and things falling, and you get a power up where you can press and hold and it stops you in your tracks and you hide in your turtle shell, which is the most adorable thing ever. It is really cute because there's like these horrible spikes and you're like, nope, I'm not getting on that. I'm not getting over there. It's really adorable. And you're like,
Does
does
the turtle make any sounds?
I played it silently, which is not normal for me. I normally always play games with music because that's what I need. But I don't remember. Oh, I was talking to somebody at the same time, and I didn't want to be rude and not like listen to them. So I was like, I'm gonna be rude with my hands and my eyes, but not my ears.
My ears are
My
polite
ears are
as
all for
hell.
you. So I was listening, and I'm like, okay, here I am, play this game, and I'm assuming there has to be sound cues that make it easier. There has to be. But even if there wasn't, if just playing it on silent, the screen is so broken. Like, this is not okay. I don't know how and I hope there's people that can play this game really well because they're probably like gods. Like, they're probably like quick, like tappy people that are amazing at iPhone games. I am not one of those people.
Well, because I almost downloaded this game as well because it's actually Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an Apple Arcade game. So if you have
that's surprising.
So if you have
Okay.
Apple Arcade, you can download it. And so I was going to download it, but then I think it has like a 2-point-something rating on it because of the controls. And I was
It's
like,
real bad.
I'll wait till you guys patch that, and I'll come back to you
Yeah.
later.
Do you get like 20 cents back on your subscription or something?
It's free the first month. That's why it's free for the moment.
Ah,
Yeah.
what's 20% of free?
Negative. It's a negative. It's just a zero.
They definitely have to give me money.
All in all,
They
the game's
owe you.
adorable. It looks like
Okay.
it's built really well, and it looks really nice. It's very vibrant.
They put some time in it. They'll fix it.
I hope they do because it does physically just need a like. I thought it was cool at first how you could touch any part of the screen, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Like you can hold your phone any way you want. So if you're a person who just likes to like really like grip lock something, or if you're like somebody who wants to hold it with one hand, I thought it was kind of awesome. Now I don't.
Okay.
Now I just feel like it kind of needs to be like Rayman, where you have one side of the screen is for the jump, and the other side of the screen is for the moving forward or backward. Because it doesn't work.
But like how many sandwiches? Would you give it a sandwich? Is it like just the pickles?
Should it give you a sandwich?
I think it should give me a sandwich at
Wow.
this point. I don't normally find games that I dislike so quickly.
Is it like a negative sandwich?
It's like a for me it would be like if the bread was too squishy. It's a sandwich, but it's squishy bread, so I'm not even gonna eat that sandwich.
So until they patch in fresh bread,
Right.
Yeah.
I need a
it's
fresh
not
bread.
worth
I get
it.
that.
Okay.
I need fresh bread on this sandwich. It doesn't, as stated before, I don't need any condiments on said sandwich.
Right.
My
Right.
prosciutto and my mozzarella are perfectly fine by themselves.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat them because there's squishy bread on them now, though.
Okay.
I'd have to peel it off. That's how this works.
So as soon as you get new bread, it's good.
Those controls, man,
right.
they fix those. It's probably going to be a great game.
All right. Well, good games, everyone.
Yeah.
Nice, varied piece from all
You're
of
welcome.
us.
But
Shooter, runner.
but all new releases.
That's true.
So wait for us to be on the ball.
That's right. For
Topical.
once.
Yeah, I'm not playing the Kingdom Hearts 2,
Yeah. That's right.
which I still have to finish.
I
Yeah.
do want to put it out there. I would love a Dragon Quest update one of these days. I do feel like if anyone's still playing Builders, I would love to hear if there is more crazy in that game.
I did finish Builders.
Oh.
We'll have to have a Dragon Quest
I-
only episode.
yes,
I
yeah.
feel like we
Okay.
should have a Dragon Quest episode because
We can have just like an update episode
Yeah.
of things
Oh,
that
yeah.
we've been,
I like it.
in the
Yeah.
background. All right,
I
I
like
like
it.
it. I like it.
I like it.
We'll do that one of these days. So now that brings us to our news segment.
News.
Yeah, news. Let's go with. Let's start off with what we started our week with, which was the Overwatch League. It was on ABC.
Yeah, literally a Disney
Yeah.
decided, hey, let's put the Overwatch League on.
They're like, we own everything else.
Yes.
Why not?
This was the culmination of the esports Overwatch League, the OWL. The league started in January. The season started in January. There were 16 teams, whittled down to 2, the San Francisco Shock and the Vancouver Titans. Both have been excellent teams this entire year. They showed variety, adaptability, strong carries by significant players, and awesome teamwork, and beaten many awesome teams on the way. Ourselves included, we are big Overwatch fans.
Yep.
We try to watch as many matches as possible. We have our favorite teams.
Spitfire!
Brian, what's your favorite team?
Mine would be the Florida Mayhem, just
Right.
because
We're in Florida, representing Florida.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They couldn't represent Florida if they weren't terrible.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They have to be terrible.
You gotta have something to root for.
Exactly.
You know, that's the Florida way. Joe, do you have a favorite Overwatch team?
I tacked on to the Paris Eternal this year because they have a chicken as their. I don't know if I can get away with that word. I feel like I was
rooster.
a rooster, if you will.
Their mascot is a rooster.
Oh, I live for that. And if it's not them, it's the Shanghai Dragons. Go Dragons.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love them. Underdog all the way.
Yeah, Shanghai Dragons were the worst team last season, and this year went on to win one of the phases championships.
Yep.
So they've definitely become a big player in the Overwatch League esports professional gaming. Mandy, on 3, what's our favorite team? 1, 2, 3, Spitfire! We are big London fans. They were the champions last year and got to the playoffs this year. So hey,
They did.
That's okay. We got nothing to prove anymore.
You didn't. You guys won the first
They
one.
won. Yeah, they're
That's
good.
all
We
we
wanted
needed.
to give other teams a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we won twice in a row, what are we rooting for at this point?
Also, technically, we were totally in the playoffs.
Yes, that is true.
That is very true. I'm still a little bit salty that there was no season or stage 4 playoffs because Florida would have been in them, and that would have been the first one that they made. So
Next year.
next year, just like all Florida teams, next year is our year. Then we got this.
So this all came together. All of our love for these teams, watching them play throughout the entire year, came to last Sunday where we had the San Francisco Shock and the Vancouver Titans pair up against each other in the most epic Owl Overwatch League game possible. Except
Caveat.
the game didn't quite last as long as we thought.
It happens to everyone.
In the Philadelphia arena, thousands and thousands of fans live, singers beforehand, broadcasting in multiple venues, multiple stations, online and on television itself.
Multiple languages.
The teams were supposed to play up to 8 games, and the idea was the first of 4 to win.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, this has been, one team wins 1, another team wins 2, then it's 3, 4, 5. You end up having 7 games. It's 3 hours long. You're sweating. You're cheering.
Scraping
4 hours.
by,
You're
cut
scraping
your
by.
teeth and
This
fighting
is-
for every inch. And
This is what we were expecting. But instead, the San Francisco Shock swept the Vancouver Titans
Yeah.
4-0.
And only like 2 of the maps were kind of competitive.
Yeah, like the first one.
Yeah.
they definitely got a morale hit early on where it was like they had lost like 2 maps and then it was just downhill from there.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That's just embarrassing, I think. Not just for the Titans, but kind of for the overall league to have their big moment, their Super Bowl, be over in 2 hours.
It was kind of shocking, like no pun intended. I was actually really surprised because the Titans had been so hardcore.
They were the number one.
They really they were the team to beat for a very long time. They were, and I was very confused as to what was going on. And we saw some amazing gameplay though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was some
Phenomenal.
Unbelievable things that these professionals had done.
I don't blame the players.
No.
No, not at all.
They did everything right.
It's just, one team was slightly better than the other team just in every single possible way.
I mean, I don't know if this means that you should reformat to like a World Series type thing where maybe they had an off day. Okay, try the next day or something.
That's how it was last year. 'Cause
Right.
Last
Yeah, they
year
had
it
2
was
days
best
last
2
year.
out of 3
Yeah.
of the games. I think it was just harder to schedule for actual TV that way.
Oh, I see.
Because last year it was Friday and Saturday, so the Friday night game was on actual ESPN proper, and that was a very competitive game. And then the following day, I think it was on. I think it might have been on ABC or one of those other channels, but only the first game would have been because they didn't have a long enough time slot just in case it went to both all 3 games.
Right.
So they didn't know how to schedule that. So I think that had a way into it.
I think they should have halftime. So that
Agreed.
they get to do a bit and then they have a break.
Like a real
So if they're- Like a
halftime.
real
Yes.
halftime. Well, they had a performer before the show started. They should have just cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
They
I
did
guess you didn't know when to cut it in half, though.
Yeah.
As soon as someone gets to 2,
No,
well,
for
they
real.
did.
Actually, as soon as the first 2 matches happen, actually, they should just cut it, whether one team is winning or not.
They actually
do.
do
They
that.
do.
So
Right.
in normal matches they have a halftime, which is after the 2 maps they have a longer break, which is normally about 15 minutes or so,
Well,
and then they come back. So and that's what they did this time as well.
Okay.
They had the first 2 maps. They went for halftime.
But
And
Mandy's talking about a bigger
break.
yeah,
half.
and you're talking about for like a
break.
huge
Put on
Yeah.
a show for
Exactly.
especially the people that bought tickets to see this. We have a friend Kay who went there
Oh yeah.
and spent a lot of money to go to this grand finals. Bought their ticket. Like months and months and months ago, not and to have all that just for a couple hours and then you got to go home.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah,
and if you're an advertiser,
Yeah.
spent money for everyone to watch the show and you didn't even get to your commercial, that sucks.
Yeah, I think next year, I agree with Amanda. I think they should have like a halftime thing. Maybe have it be 5 maps instead of 4 that you have to win. And then maybe have like that big halftime thing after the 3rd map
to really
to really like get into it.
And
just,
then if they're behind, it'll be no. Give us 40 minutes so we can talk about this.
Exactly.
We'll put something on for the other people to watch, but then that'll give us some time to actually strategize and change things.
Yeah,
Because even 15 minutes, it's just like, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any more time.
Bring in some players that didn't make it or on the winning teams to do some like scrim fun matches, like Widow versus Widow
yeah.
or
Yeah.
something like that. So it's still entertaining in Overwatch terms, but you're not just sitting there.
I agree.
I mean, we are sports experts now.
Oh, we are. we know what we're talking about.
I'm so happy we're having a sports conversation right now. I've waited my whole life to be able to talk sports. And finally, it met me where I was at.
Overwatch League, video game
Yeah.
sports.
Hell yeah.
I think that's what they call it, video game sports. Nothing else it could be.
Yeah, that's it. Nailed it.
Sports ball.
Done. But it was a great time, though.
Yeah.
Even though it was still one-sided, like we were saying, there's so many good plays that we had never seen before. Where it's like, oh, this is really awesome. I'm really glad that I did watch this.
And it was nice having an event to have a sports party at.
Exactly.
Thank you all for coming, and shout out to Josh and Nakia for coming by.
That's right. Thanks for having
the
us.
time.
It was so fun.
That was just good to do.
It was. It was. As friends. Not just podcasters. So this brings us to our next bit of news, which was Shawn Layden, which is the chairman of Sony International Entertainment Worldwide Studios. It's a long thing. He is leaving his position. He was with Sony for 32 years. And you guys at home might know him as the bearded guy who introduces E3 for them.
That's how I knew him.
For the last 5 years. So yeah, he's leaving. He's being replaced.
Cool. Best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck to him.
Go do your
After
thing.
32 years, is he leaving for another job or is he retiring?
It looks like we don't know. It's too early, so we're not 100% sure. But it looked like there's kind of like a power struggle going on at the top, so we're not sure what's going on. Yeah,
After 32 years, I think he deserves to sit back and play some video games.
I agree. I very much so agree with that. And then the next bit of news, Amanda, you had some Untitled Goose Game.
Oh yes, this is really quick and just quite silly. Is Untitled Goose was, last time I checked, #1 on Nintendo Switch
Nice.
in their bestsellers list. So the game, when you get recommendations, the #1 game was Untitled Goose. It beat Link's Awakening and other actual Nintendo games.
They know where the money's at.
They do.
If you haven't played Untitled Goose, go play Untitled Goose.
Yes.
Honk, honk.
Honk. And then we also had some we'll go to more Borderlands 3 stuff. It's actually their 10-year anniversary for Borderlands in general.
Congrats.
So this entire month they're going to have an anniversary month where every single week on Borderlands 3 there's going to be a new event that's going to be going on. So this one that's going on right now is certain bosses, when you kill them, are going to have a higher chance to spawn certain loot. Okay. So there's I think 20 or 25 different world bosses that if you kill them, they will drop a specific thing. So if you're looking for a specific weapon, go to this boss. There's a higher chance it'll spawn.
Don't they also usually do a Halloween event?
Yes. The event will conclude with a Halloween event. They have not said what any of the other events are yet, but they've just given little clues. So we don't know.
Borderland of the Dead.
Ooh. And then our next little fun bit of news is Sonic, that lovable hedgehog, is actually going to be an official mascot for a science mission, an actual real-life science mission. He's going to one of the instruments on board, the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, also known as JUICE. Thank you, Lizzo. Was developed by Tohoku University, and they actually got Sega's approval to have Sonic be their mascot for their little scientific thing. So it actually takes off in 2022 and arrives in 2029.
Wow.
But then they have to delay it because they have to reimagine the artwork of Sonic.
Yeah, it's
Because all the fans are upset about Sonic's teeth.
Yeah, I think we'll find out about that, 2021,
Okay.
late 2021,
Okay.
they'll do that. So. Cool. I thought that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That it's awesome that Sonic's going to be in space.
Space is in a cool place right now where like no one owns it and no one's trying to do it. Everyone's just like, put a thing up there, whatever.
Yeah.
Future generation will deal with that.
Oh, yeah, totally. And then, let's see here. We have some Fallout 76 news, Troy.
Yeah, 20,000 helmets that were given away with Fallout 76 are being recalled because apparently they have mold. That's 20,000 helmets, which means that you bought the special version of Fallout 76, a game that was plagued with so many problems it was unplayable for a long amount of time. And you got that helmet, and then you got mold in your lungs because of that, because it wasn't enough.
I don't think the mold's in your lungs. I think that the
Well, it gets
fabric,
there.
the fabric on the inside of the helmet, because you're breathing into it, is you're creating a lovely, dark, moist place.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
if you have, they
It's-
said if you have respiratory problems and you breathe that in, it could be very bad for you. A normal person would probably be fine, but if you are one of those people that are susceptible, don't put
It's like
the mask on.
the right combination of polyester and cotton to like perfectly breed mold.
Ouch.
We're mold breeders.
And then
Mold
there-
is like, ooh, look at this, my goodness.
Oh, just for me, I'll move in. Thank you. and it's rough too because that same thing, the same collector's edition, it was supposed to be a canvas bag that it came with, and it came with a nylon, just
Yeah.
cheap as all hell
Like
bag.
you can't even take that bag to the grocery store to reuse.
Yeah, you can't. So there was problems with that already. So people already had to wait for a replacement for the canvas bags, which they did do. Credit to them. But now the one thing we're like, well, at least I have this helmet I can always look at. Oh no, this helmet's killing me.
If you didn't ever put the helmet on,
Oh, yeah,
ultimately
you're
you're
fine.
fine.
Correct.
But if you ever put it on and breathed in and out of it a little, maybe a lot of people left them on a shelf.
Again, I can't use my bag. I can't play my game. Well, at least I can wear this stupid helmet. Oh,
Nope. Aw.
So I mean, Fallout 76 has grown since then and has its own roleplay people now that are actually like they held someone on trial recently in game through character, like because they have to make their own game pretty much in there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm just waiting for them to like hold Bungie on trial, like and roleplay that out in Fallout 76.
not Bungie.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
It's close.
Ubisoft?
Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian. Yeah.
No, it's not Obsidian.
No.
Ubisoft.
What?
Yeah,
No.
let's
It's
go.
not
It's not
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
No,
It's not
no.
Ubisoft.
AJ.
AJ, you go.
The,
AJ,
Sky,
you
the Skyrim
Bethesda.
people.
Yeah, Bethesda.
There we go.
Oh, that was going to bother me.
It was.
Apologies to all other of the gaming
Listen,
companies we just listed.
We've
My
been
bad.
talking a lot of first-person shooters today.
Yeah.
They're all in the soup that is our brain.
At least we didn't say like Gearbox. It's fine.
But now we did.
Oh no.
Actually, side note with Gearbox, I believe the fellow that was leaving them, actually him and the CEO finally came to a
Yeah, the
agreement.
lawyer-
Yeah,
the
the
lawyer.
lawyers
They-
said that they came to an
they-
agreement. I think yesterday.
Yeah,
the day before,
they
and
all
they're-
agreed to just drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a problem with the lawyer who left Gearbox. Thought he should have been owed, I think, an additional $12 million in compensation. And so Gearbox, I think, told him to pound sand, and he
$12
was not
million.
happy about
Whew.
that. So he sued them for his $12 million. And I think the judge at some point found that it wasn't done in malice. There might be something to it. So the guy was just like, all right, let's just drop this. So they both just talked it out, and then they're both like, yes, we're just going to have it,
It was
be
settled.
what it is. Yeah, it was
And they said they're not going to say anything else about how and what was settled, but it was done.
Yeah, apparently no money did exchange, but that's just what they're saying. Who knows? Whatever, man. And last bit of news, Joe, you just had a little bit of Dragon Quest news, right?
Oh, yeah. The mobile game that's really big in Japan, Dragon Quest The Stars, is actually going to be released here in the States. They said 2020, and they were looking at, I think the rumor is that it would be around June. So people were wondering because it's such a big thing there. And this was like a half a year ago when everyone was like, oh my God, this game is the best thing ever. Like, why do we not have it here? If you have an Android or you have something that you can boot where you are, you can download this game now. But the beta testing for Android starts in October.
Cool. Fun.
Yeah, so who knows if it'll be to iOS anytime soon, but I would love to play that game. So if they could hurry that up, that'd be great.
One day you will.
Someday.
You won't have time because that's after Animal Crossing comes out, and
Oh.
then that's the only game we're ever playing again ever.
That's true. Actually, I don't. Yeah, that. You know what? Maybe I won't really have time to play this game. That's possible.
That's very true. Yeah. So I think that does it for the news today.
Brian.
Yeah.
I was going to work yesterday, and I forgot to eat lunch.
That
So
happens.
I looked at my cat and I'm like, I gotta go. I grabbed some graham crackers and some water and just dipped. But then I had to stop for gas.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I should really get something to go with these graham crackers. And I just didn't know what to pair with it. I'm going to be eating on the road, so it's got to be something like it doesn't spill.
Okay.
Mandy, do you have anything? Like, I
you-
just don't know what I could pair with these graham crackers to eat with.
Are you looking for something disgusting, or are you looking for something tasty?
Okay, good question. Disgusting. You know what? No, I don't want something disgusting right now. I am looking for something a little tastier. But what?
Oh, maybe like a tasty topic.
Ooh.
We made that shorter today.
Did we?
If you throw it to me, it will always be shorter.
That's a true story. These are all true stories, by the way.
We've talked about
Graham
this.
crackers? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I paired it with jerky.
Fun podcast secret is all of Troy's stories are true.
I didn't say it was a good idea.
That's terrible.
You're right, but it was in the moment,
You
man.
said you wanted something tasty.
I had to go. It was,
That is, yeah.
it was
that is-
teriyaki jerky.
That is at least substantial. So you did, get something out of it besides just sweet jerky. God, that's weird. All right. Well,
On that note.
this week's tasty topic is brought to you by Joe.
Oh.
Ooh, for the first time.
Yeah, this is the first time. So I was thinking about it. Whenever we play video games, we are always the hero. We're always playing the hero's journey, and we're trying to wade through the world, meeting many characters along the way. Some help us, some us don't. Some are mini bosses, and others are nameless NPCs. So it got me to thinking, if I was an NPC in a video game, if I was just somebody who lived in the background, what world would I like to live in? And if I was going to live in that world, how much interaction with the main character do I want to have? So I put it out there to you guys. What game would you guys like to live in? I can tell you guys which one I would like to live in.
Yeah, hit us off.
I would live in Animal Crossing.
I said that.
I would live in
Shock.
Animal Crossing because they give you a house and you do not have to pay that stuff back if you don't want to. You meet all sorts of people in the game. I don't even have to talk with the main character. I could go live a life and fish and do nothing else. I could do nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then if you lose something, the main character will just find it for you.
It's fair, and they'll send you things. They send you letters if you ask them to sometimes. And the only downside, though, is if you happen to be like a pink elephant named Eloise, no one likes you. No one wants to hang out with you.
Eloise
Tangy.
likes Eloise.
Or Tangy. I mean,
You know what?
You don't wanna be
she's got
Tangy.
issues.
When this new Animal Crossing comes out, those are the two people I am going to be friends with.
Yeah, we're not going to your town.
We're not going to hang out in your town because they might move to
Wow.
our town, and I don't want either of them.
Wow, looks like I have a new game afoot.
But
Hey, what town is this, Joe's? Eloise, we should go say hi.
No.
Bring some pears.
if she talks to me, I would send a letter, which would only make the character like you more, but it would be filled with horrible expletives.
You can actually write in that game.
Absolutely.
Remember-
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
town I go to, if I visit a friend's town, I find the post office and I go send them a letter. Because I keep all the cool like stationery in my pockets so
Yeah.
that I can always send a letter so that later on when they're playing, because you don't get it the very next day. You might get it a few days later. Sooner or later, they'll end up with a letter randomly from me like, hey, thanks for inviting me to your town. I had a really good time playing hide and seek with you. Here's a peach.
So who's worse, Eloise or Big Top?
Wait,
I like Big Top.
Who's Big Top? What? Explain.
Yeah,
He's a
they're
rhino
like-
who's
oh.
No,
No, he's an elephant.
No, he's an elephant. Big
Yeah.
Top is an elephant who's super into working out.
Oh.
And so like when he meets you, he's like, "What's up, tough guy? Doing stretches, doing crunches. I'm gonna run a marathon." And he's like always telling you to like work out. And I don't obviously my character. I mean, you look at that character; it's definitely not working out.
He lives up to his name. He's a Big Top.
Okay. Okay.
He's ridiculous. He's great.
It seems, Joe, that you just have something against elephants.
Maybe I do.
Wow. I
Maybe
mean,
I
it's something
do.
you could explore with yourself, find as you will.
I really hate Dumbo, so that could be what
Wow.
it is. Yeah.
Wow.
That movie made me cry. I don't ever
Oh.
want to watch that movie ever again. I
So
hate that.
that
movie.
kind of hate.
Yeah, it's not a
Okay.
hate because it's a bad movie. That's
Oh,
a great
okay.
movie.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
I mean, Baby
I
Mine
thought you were
starts,
like,
and I'm
man,
like,
I
I need
wish-
to leave now because I'm feeling things and I don't want to feel.
I thought you meant like, yeah, Dumbo had it good.
Oh, poor Dumbo.
I hate Dumbo.
Oh, that movie's
What,
brutal.
all he could lose with his mom?
Yeah,
that's all he got. Ugh.
Yeah, he knew his place.
Fly, F him. All right.
Don't couldn't the main character steal your furniture?
Yes. See, and thank you for bringing us back to where
In
we need
Dumbo?
to go.
Yeah.
No. No, they stole his whole life. No, so in Animal Crossing, the main character can mess with your stuff. They can chop down all the trees in your house. They could mess up all your flower beds. They could take your things from you. And then on top of it, if you're like, hey, that's a really cool, like, pill bug you've got there, I will give you this t-shirt for it. They go, no, you can give me some bells for it, though. And they might, like extort you for things you may want that you may have given them in the first place.
Why do you want to live in this hell world?
Because if you don't hang out with the main character, it's like, it's beautiful.
Okay.
You get this cool, well, in the new one, you're supposed to get a tent. I don't know if I like that so much, but you have a beautiful house.
Right.
You live by a creek. There's a nice mayor in
Yeah.
the town. There's all these people, if the mayor doesn't ever show up, that do the mayor's job for them. I mean, like,
and you're the one that does the stealing.
right? You
Yeah.
can take all the things if you want to.
I have one final question about this for you. Since all the Animal Crossing NPCs are animals, I guess what type of animal would you be?
That is a really good question.
That
I
is,
never really thought
yeah.
about it.
Like a badger, a squirrel, a
Aardvark.
lion, an aardvark.
Well, I don't know.
You wouldn't be a spotty dog?
I was about to say, I would, but there's already Dottie.
There's Dottie.
Yeah, but you would be cooler than
Yeah, I was about to say,
Dottie.
you
I'd
could
be
be way
cooler
better than her.
than Dottie, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'd probably be a Dalmatian.
You'd be a Dalmatian and you'd have the blue shirt with the 4 on it.
Absolutely.
You run around taking
Absolutely.
pictures of everybody.
Everything. If there was a job in any game in general, if the job was to take the pictures of the main character, like be the person who hangs out and just gets like the cool social media shots, that's me. I would do that job.
You would have like one of your floppy ears would be like in front of your eye.
Always.
Kind of like,
Like my bangs, yes. Always.
This is a good idea for all of us.
I like it. I feel like we should all play Animal Crossing. We should all live in the Animal Crossing world. Anybody
idea.
Animal Crossing world with me?
I still like mine a little better, but
All right,
but I
Troy.
hear
So
you. I
what's
hear
yours
you.
then?
Hit us. What would it
Okay.
be?
So, if I was an NPC in a town in a game, I would pick a game from the Mario series. Okay,
okay.
and not just any Mario series, specifically Mario Odyssey, the one that came out for the Switch, and even more specifically, I want to be an NPC who lives permanently in New Donk City.
Yes.
I would spend the rest of my days in New Donk City. Nothing but Nintendo themed cafes. There's just you go watch a movie. It's just Donkey Kong, and then you're influenced by the rest of the world of the Nintendo universe that can come in and say hi. They're all like it's like an epicenter for all the different games and franchises. And then on top of that, I get a really cool pinstripe suit, and maybe I'll play some drums in a band every once in a while.
But would you be hiding a star anywhere on you?
Always. Well, here's the thing. Do I want Mario, the main character, to interact with me? I think I do, but only on one condition. If he's in the band.
Okay.
Because I do want to be an NPC that's in the band because I want to play Jump Up Superstar all the time.
All the time. Such a great song.
And you know what? If Mario wants to come by, do some slap bass, come on by, Mario.
You know, that's a
That's
slippery
fine.
slope, though, because
Why?
whenever Mario's there, you can only do one thing at a time. So
Wait,
you're
what do
just-
you mean?
I mean, people don't walk around while Mario's
Oh,
there.
no. I'm doing things just, if you see, when he's not there,
Yeah, you
seeing
can do
me do
whatever you
things, I'm
want.
doing whatever I need.
Yeah, but as soon as Mario shows up, you can only do one thing the entire time he's there.
Or he
But
has
it's
to,
Jump Up Superstar playing, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're just going to be forever playing in the band.
I'm playing that sick slap bass now. Yeah, actually, you know what? That's fine. He has to come find me.
Yeah, you know, fair enough. Yeah.
I'm like on a scaffold somewhere, playing me some bass, and yeah, come up, find me, and then we'll go chill somewhere else.
Nice.
Yeah, there's taxis in there, and it's the most humanistic Mario
Yeah, that's very true.
thing. I don't want to be a Goomba. I don't want to be in like the lava world. I don't want to be in Bowser's Castle. New Donk City though sounds awesome. Work on politics. Pauline is the mayor of that town.
She's a
Maybe I
pimp.
can get a good secretary job there. I don't know. Put in a good word for me, please.
Yeah.
I feel like
do my
Mario's
best.
definitely going to jump on you at some point.
Yeah,
You-
especially
he's
if you're
definitely
playing
gonna kick
bass
you.
guitar off on a scaffolding. He's like, oh, he's definitely hiding a star.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
It only happened once, though.
Yeah, it would only happen once. You just wouldn't have a star anymore.
I'll find another one. But even still, even when bad things happen to New Donk City, it's not that bad. When like those
Right.
raving rabbit looking things come by, the city was fine. Like there
not
wasn't
wrong.
anything too horrible happening. So
Yeah.
I think I would rather live in that world. I know I do not want to live in Untitled Goose World. That would be the worst.
It's funny you brought up Raving Rabbits because that
Yeah.
would have been the other world I would live in because I love those
Really?
rabbits and because all they do is sing and do stupid things all day long.
Yeah.
So like I would love to be a rabbit
Yeah, you'd
and
be a
just be
rabbit,
like
yeah.
rah, 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 That's it all day long.
Turn
you
it
get
off and go.
slapped, though.
No, you only get slapped if you're the GameCube one.
Fair enough.
You don't get slapped in the other ones.
But you have a chance of being the slappy rabbit.
Good.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, right? So, thank you.
Yeah. And then what about you, Amanda?
Oh, I thought long and hard about this, and I went through all of my favorite video games, and I realized that all I want in life is to live in the Monkey Island universe.
Oh, that's good.
I'm gonna sit at the scum bar, and occasionally a Guybrush Threepwood's gonna come along, and he's gonna say some very funny things.
Some very
And if-
piratey stuff.
And if I'm very, very lucky, we'll get to insult Swordfight. It's all puns, and it's silly, and nothing bad ever happens. Like, even though it's like high adventure and the high seas, like the chance of me dying is very low.
Seems like more of a land of hijinks than
Yeah.
like actual violence.
I might have to give him a chicken or a pair of
pair of
gold
socks.
rings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Nice.
It's a
I
good
like
world.
it.
I like
Ooh,
it.
that is a great world. I hadn't even gone there. I love that.
I could probably drink.
Yeah, you
Grog,
could.
right? You drink grog there?
Yeah.
I like it. I like
good.
it. The world I would be playing, I would want to be in is the Dragon Quest XI, and
Oh.
You picked the
because
fighty world.
I can just be a normal NPC. I could
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I can go to like the casino. They have a whole bunch of casinos.
Okay.
I can
your puff puff
I can
on?
get my puff puff on. That's exactly where I was going to next.
Sorry.
I can pay not whoever I want. But I can play 20 different people for puff puff. I can yell at the main character if he comes into my house and tries to smash my stuff.
Oh.
Does that ever stop the main character?
It doesn't, but I can yell at him, which is better than most other games. The other games, I just have to sit there and take it. At least that's why I'm like, hey, don't do that.
Come on.
Do
Man.
bad things ever happen to villagers? I'm pretty sure there's like
They
mass-
do. I'll just make sure I stay away from it.
Living on the edge.
I'll live on the edge.
But you're definitely going to be a side quest at that point. He has to find you.
Not necessarily. I could just
If you're
be
on
like,
the edge, he's definitely going to find you.
true, but maybe I'm just like going to the casino so that he's breaking into my house when I'm not there. That's fine.
It's quite an agreement you have.
It is.
Wait till I'm at the casino. Then you can break in my house and steal my things.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just make sure to leave a couple of things there. Just one mini medal. That's it.
But if you live out in the outskirts, then all the monsters live near you too.
No, they don't. Not the outskirts. The monsters aren't near me.
That's part of the grind of the game.
Not that part.
Oh,
There's
okay.
portions of the map without monsters on it. It's fine.
It's the casino.
He's gonna live in the boring place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a
Okay,
lot of
I
boring
know.
places
Cool.
there. I feel like that's fantastical enough. We're also being safe enough.
Yeah, it's like fantastical light.
Yes, exactly.
I like it.
exactly.
My
So,
runner-up was Harvest Moon. I figured that was pretty
Oh,
safe.
that was good.
That is
But
pretty
that
great.
seemed boring.
Yeah.
I felt like Animal Crossing has a museum and
Yeah.
they've got an aquarium and stuff. I'm like, I'll never be bored.
Yeah.
There's
many-
always something to do.
Too many dead grandfathers in Harvest Moon, though.
That's what I was saying. I said that on the way over here. I was like, but what if I end up being the grandpa?
Yeah, exactly.
What if I roll them die?
I
You
enjoyed
die.
thinking of all the games I would not want to be part of, like Untitled Goose, GTA.
Skyrim.
The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I thought of
yeah.
a bunch of worlds I would not want to live in. And, like
Agreed.
it was the immediate a complete opposite. I was like, the Witcher universe. Jeez, man,
Oh,
I don't think anyone makes it out of that.
What's worse, the Witcher universe or the Untitled Goose universe?
Untitled Goose, because at least I'm not going to die.
So it's better. It's better.
I don't
better,
know. I
yeah.
feel like the things in the Witcher universe are innately good and evil. So you don't have even though humans are not
Yeah.
really great all the time, you're at least if you're eaten by a monster or you're destroyed or something, like you are a monster, like
Right.
you have a very clean path in life. But
Yeah.
if you're in that goose universe,
You're
you're either the
trapped.
goose or he is destroying your sanity.
Oh,
You're either the honker, which obviously you can't be in this situation, he's the hero,
oh,
or you're the kid whose two shoelaces are getting tied so he can take your glasses.
oh. and
You're
you-
getting locked into things.
and you can't even leave.
You
I don't
can't
know.
do anything about it.
They light people on fire in The Witcher. I'd rather get traumatized and locked in a garage than lit on fire.
I am less afraid of fire than I am of the dark, so I'm not in that place.
But you'd be in the dark alive.
He's still in your house, though.
But that goose steals that kid's toy and then puts it in the shop, so the kid has to rebuy his own toy.
Again,
That's horrible.
again.
Yeah, you get
You would
lit
be
on,
lit
you get lit on fire.
on fire.
I hear you.
Or, you're just chilling. You're like, all right, I'm gonna sow my fields, and then why is there a chimera here? Oh no!
I'm just looking forward to The Witcher, where that has the goose in it. I feel like a bunch of games are just going to start putting the goose into their games.
Oh gosh, I hope so.
Cyberpunk 2077. Come on, do like a little like parody on Robot Chicken, but it's Robot Goose.
Zelda already has a bunch of like chicken related content. It'd be great if 1 in every 10 chickens was a goose.
Yeah. One in every 100.
Just kept stealing your shield.
Yeah.
I would not want to live in the Zelda universe at all, ever.
No.
Everyone is always miserable until he finally gets there. And even then afterwards, you're doomed to like repeat this time anyway at some point.
I,
So,
don't know, I think his grandma's got a pretty good life in
Half of them
Wind
die.
Waker. In Wind Waker. Just be the Wind Waker.
She's
grandmother.
miserable almost the entire game because the other grandchild is stolen.
And
Very
those
worried.
islands are so small.
But she had a great 70 years before that.
You think she
You
did.
don't know.
That's where I'm going with
You
that.
don't know. You don't know anything actually at that point. We don't know how long the Tower of the Gods has been underneath the sea.
All I know is she's been alive for 70 years.
That's a good point.
It's fair.
Not dead.
We know a lot about that grandmother from Wind Waker.
We do.
We do. We do.
Hey, we had that one Grandmother's Day. That's why.
That's true.
That social media post.
Look
We're on
it up on Instagram.
That's right. It got some traction.
People like their grandmas.
They do.
Heck yeah.
Everybody should. Right. Well, nice topic there, Joe.
Yeah.
Nice little discussion about it.
Thank you.
A little bit of fun.
A little bit of fun.
Now that brings us to our Dragon of the Week.
It's the Dragon of the Week. Now don't you freak. It's the Dragon of the Week. Yeah, it's so chic and weak. But the opposite of weak, which is strong. No, thanks for finishing that for me.
So this week's Dragon of the Week is going to be my Dragon of the Week. You actually heard him a little bit earlier today. Ooh. It's going to be Shawn Layden.
Shawn Layden.
Shawn Layden, former CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios. So I chose him because he got fired. Or I'm just going to say he got fired because doing my research, it seems like he got fired.
Okay. Breaking news. He's got the inside track.
He was let go due to artistic differences.
Artistic, he was managerial.
Seemingly fired.
Yes. A little bit of a power struggle going on is what I think. However, let's get into what he was before all of this. So, and before all this, his very first game he ever played was called Computer Space. It was a little arcade that was at his local bowling alley, and it was just like this fiberglass thing. Like you probably never even heard of it. So its biggest claim to fame was that it was in the movie Soylent Green.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah, it's the white arcade cabinet that she's playing, and like the high-rise apartment or whatever.
Okay.
That's that game. So, but once he played it, he was like, "Wow, this is actually this is a really cool thing." And so. So he graduated. So he started going on, and he ended up graduating from the University of Notre Dame in 1983 with a degree in American Studies.
Sweet, good place to get that in America.
Great start off point. But before he graduated, he actually had a year abroad at the University of Japan. No, sorry, the University of Tokyo. And then after he graduated, he actually got a fellowship with the Japanese Ministry of Education because he can actually speak Japanese actually very well. And so while he was there, he in 1987 he was like he got a job at Sony as a PR person.
Wow, that quickly.
Yeah,
nice.
And so, but
this
was
like Walkman days.
Yeah, I was going to say this is like pre gaming days. This is like, hey, this is just Sony. Like it's a great big global powerhouse, but it's not known for games. So he was a PR person just dealing with the foreign press. And 2 years later, he became the secretary of the chairman, which was Akio Morita, which is the founder of Sony. So became the founder's secretary. But he wasn't just his secretary. He was also his speechwriter and also his ghostwriter.
Oh, cool.
So he actually had a pretty big, even though it's a secretary and, whatever, it's actually a really big deal. He got to meet a whole bunch of people doing that. I think he met Henry Kissinger and one of the Rockefellers. He being in that position was actually pretty beneficial to him. Yeah. And he was in that position for 5 years.
Cool.
So he had, all the time was doing stuff. And so, 5 years later, which is roughly 1992, they were gearing up for the PlayStation. So as the PlayStation was coming around, Mr. Morita had a stroke and was no longer coming into the office.
Okay.
So he was offered a job in the gaming sector that they were creating, which was going to become PlayStation. And but he wasn't really sure about it because he's like, hey, you know, I don't really think I'm qualified for this. I don't really have anything to do with gaming. You know, I don't have any gaming experience. And so the Sony director at the time, which was Terahisa Takanaka, responded by laughing, and he was like, well, none of us have.
It's new.
It's new for us, you know? So one of the things that they had to figure out in his position was that how are we going to get publishers on with us? You know, how do we actually get people to make games for this console that we're going to be coming out with? And so with that, they actually looked at it from like their Sony Music perspective. And so they were like, all right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to put developers' names on boxes, kind of like how we do for albums. You know, they have a person's name on it. So we're going to put that on boxes, which had never been done before. Sony and Sega were both like, no, this is a company. This is not a designer's person.
You put the console name on it.
Yeah, you put the console name on it. You put the maybe who developed it, but not the developer. So you started seeing like Sid Meier's. You started seeing all this other stuff.
Right.
And so the other thing that they made a really big push for was for third-party publishers, whereas Nintendo and Sega, I think like 60% of their business was all first-party. So they're like, hey, you third-party studios, you want to come in and make games for us?
Here's a platform.
Here's a platform that you're not going to really have that much competition with because we don't really have a first-person studio or a first-party studio. And so that really actually helped them out a lot with making their games. And so then 2 years after the PlayStation came out, he ended up becoming a producer for the international software division of Sony Computer Entertainment and was responsible for bringing American games over to Japan. So he was trying to figure it out because Japan is a very insular country. And so, they're not really receptive to outside things. So he's trying to bring over like Jet Moto to like have Japanese people play Jet Moto or Destruction Derby.
Right.
And so it was a little bit difficult. And what he actually really wanted to go after was Tomb Raider. And so he went after it pretty hard. Unfortunately, Sega got, the people ended up going with Sega, but it was only a timed exclusive, which actually worked out in their favor because it released on Sega Saturn initially, and there was a whole bunch of bugs that came out with it. So because it was a timed exclusive, they're like, oh, we have time to fix this for the PlayStation version. And they did, and now it's a kind of a big deal.
Tomb Raider's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. And he was responsible for all of these like kind of backdoor things that was just American games into Japan. And so in 1999, he actually transferred to London in order to do the exact same, but for Europe. So he was bringing American and Japanese games over to Europe and trying to sell them over there, which is kind of hard because Europe has a lot of different languages. So you have to do a lot of different localization. So you have to figure out what's worth bringing over, where you're going to put your resources at. And he's just kind of like jumping around. He's doing like all these little things that it doesn't seem to be kind of important, thinking about it. But then when you actually start thinking about it, it's like, oh, no, this is like you have to dedicate resources. Like you had to determine if Final Fantasy X was worth bringing to Europe with its 1.5 million words and transferring, and localizing it and putting it into its own languages.
Okay, do we make it in French? Yes, we have enough French people. Do we make it in Portuguese? Do we make it in German?
Exactly.
Do we make it in this like subset of this language that's only in this small area, but there's a lot of fans there?
Yeah. And so it's like, oh wow, that's really crazy. And so eventually he worked his way up to the ranks to become VP of International Development while still in London. And then in 2007, he got called back to Japan because Sony was having a little bit of an existential crisis with their gaming division. The sales of PlayStation 3s were down. They didn't really know what to do as far as to pick up sales. So their gaming division was starting to lose money. So Kaz Hirai actually called him in person and was like, hey, we kind of need you back in Japan. And he's like, all right, if he calls, you have to go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no, really, saying no to that. So he actually became the president of Sony Entertainment Japan. Sony Computer Entertainment Japan, and so they brought him in because they needed a fresh set of eyes. Everybody who was already there just would have kept on repeating the same mistakes and the same problems that they needed to get out of. First, he was a foreigner. He'd been working in London for the past 7 years. So they brought him in, and he was able to restructure the entire company, which is really hard to do in Japan. They're very hierarchical. So they got rid of a whole bunch of executives and brought in the younger people. So they ended up, unfortunately, getting rid of the older guys, but they promoted a whole bunch of new people that were really excited about the gaming division, and within 18 months they were back to profit.
Wow,
That's crazy.
incredible.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was that it was that much of a quick turnaround, and B, that they really were suffering that much. But they were. And so he ended up getting moved to California. So they're just shipping him all over this place. And he became the CEO, and they set up the Sony Network Entertainment. So they were in charge of all of their network operations. So like Sony PlayStation Plus, all of the actual storefronts, everything that was online that he was in charge of. And they just created it. And he was the CEO of it. So it was during this time that the Sony network hacking happened in 2011, which was a major deal at the time. He actually said that he thinks he lost several years off of his life because he was so just worried and trying to figure everything out, because up to that point, they did try to do everything as best as they could. And then they found this huge gaping hole that they had to patch. So he's thankful that it happened the time that it did, because at least at that time, there was time to fix it, and there wasn't too many people on it at the time. Whereas I think if that happened now, that'd be kind of crazy. So thankfully, it happened back then, so they could patch up their holes. They could figure out what's going on, what's wrong, and go into it. So yeah, he had to do all that and handle all of that, which was crazy. And then in 2014, he landed the job that most people know him for, which is the president of Sony Computer Entertainment America. That's when he started going on to E3s and doing all of the keynotes and actually presenting. So actually being the face of the company as far as in America is concerned. And he actually really doesn't like that. He wasn't. He's kind of apprehensive about it, because with that also comes fame.
Yeah.
He's now being recognized in places. So it's not like he didn't have to not do it before, but now he has to really watch what he says on Twitter.
Yeah.
He has to make sure he's not completely drunk in public.
Yeah.
And making a fool of himself, because people have recognized him in public.
Representation of Sony PlayStation.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah. So he was. So with that came a little bit of just the apprehensiveness of it, but he did. He's embraced it, but it's still one of those I don't like being recognized. I just kind of want to go out and drink and do what I want to do.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that he's been at Sony for the entire duration of the PlayStation, from the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4 and almost 5.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then that brings us to today, where he's stepping down from his position as CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios.
Well, that is a big loss for Sony and PlayStation.
Yeah, considering
whether it's his idea or not to step down, that's a loss either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's
big shoes to fill.
Especially because I was doing my research, I was like, oh wow, he actually did a lot of things for Sony, and I think anywhere he lands, or if he lands anywhere and not just retires, it's going to be, I think, only beneficial to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he knows the localization, he knows the marketing, he knows the PR.
Is that what drew you into to want to have him for the Dragon of the Week?
Yeah, because I know that he did a little bit of everything beforehand. As I was reading up on him when he got announced that he was leaving, so a bunch of people were saying all the different jobs that he did, and I was like, interesting. I wonder how much this had to do with Sony's actual success. I mean, I knew it had a lot, but I didn't realize it had that much to do with it, especially that 18-month turnaround that he had to do with the profit. So he kind of saved PlayStation, at least restructuring why. Yeah.
The savior of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's my Dragon of the Week, which is Shawn Layden.
Shawn Layden.
Shawn
Yeah.
Layden.
Awesome. Thank you for
Well, you
bringing
know
us
what?
up
Now
to
that you're
speed.
retired, have a drink on us, Sean.
Yes, yes, please do.
You know, have a soup on us.
Yeah,
A
have
drink soup.
A drink a soup.
Drink a soup.
Beer soup. What is it? Beer cheese soup?
Yeah, beer cheese soup.
Yeah, have a beer cheese soup on us.
Yeah, that's also a little chunky, but sure.
I like chunky soup.
That's
Drink
fine.
it from the bowl. It's okay.
Is it going to be like a bread bowl?
You can't drink it from a bread bowl.
It'll
That's
be
not
really
okay.
difficult.
Oh, no. Fill it with soup and then just bite the bread. Just one big bite.
The sight of it so it just pours out and you can't stop.
You're retired, man. You're not the face of Sony anymore. Just put that directly on Instagram.
That's right. You just look at people and be like, I can do what I want.
I'm going to shove this beer cheese bread bowl in my face.
We have the best ideas, guys.
You don't know
do.
my face anymore.
Especially with that beard.
Yeah, if he shaves, I don't think anybody will recognize him. So yeah, I wish him the best of luck, and yeah, Dragon of the Week. So that brings us to the end of our episode, though. As always, we record live upstairs inside of Tate's Comics, powered by our friends at 3000 Brigade.
Huzzah!
We have our sister podcast, which is Tater Talk, a comics podcast.
It is true.
Yeah, and then we also have our online, right?
Yeah, check us out on Twitter and Instagram, where we have supplemental video game content concerning us throughout the week. It is fun, lovely, and won't take up much of your time, so come on by.
Yeah.
Who did we rank this week in the Ranking of Dragons?
So in Ranking of Dragons, our quest to rank every video game dragon in video game history, we ranked none other than
Little Dragon.
Little Dragon from Little Dragon's Cafe, a kind of Harvest Moon type game, but with a dragon in a cafe. We ranked Little, as I called him, at number 15. Because
did.
he's very cute. Some people want him very high, but also he's kind of useless.
So some of us wanted him a little bit lower.
I wonder who.
I don't
Some
know.
of us thought he should have been higher.
I agree. Some did think that.
So
Some people don't appreciate the level of cuteness, but we understand. We did come to an agreement.
The five of us, Joe, Brian, Mandy, myself, and Lewis.
That's right.
We all put in a vote, and then we averaged the scores, and it came out to 15. So there is our new number 15, Little Dragon.
That's right.
Tune in next week for a new dragon.
Yeah. My vote will never be lower than Mushu.
I know.
So it's fine.
But I think I'm curious to find a worse dragon.
I think there is
Just
one
like
out there.
it's fun to find the a new top dragon.
true.
I think it's interesting to find a new bottom dragon, but we'll find him.
Yeah, we'll find him. I'm
find
sure
him.
we will. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll. I mean, the boxing one was almost there.
He was real close.
It was real close.
was.
Oh, I have one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that you do. But yeah, my name is Brian,
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
and that was your Taste of Dragons. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Honk, honk, honk,
You want everyone to read?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, go read something, everyone.
No, listen to podcasts.
It's a nice PSA.